Saturday, March 30th, junior welterweight fight between Rolly Romero and Isaac Cruz allowed us to see the Pitbull as he chomped his way to his first world title. The WBA junior welterweight title is now in his possession. Let's talk about it. In a debut for Amazon Prime TV pay-per-view boxing, we got a chance to see WBA World Super Lightweight Champion Rolando Romero face off against Isaac Cruz. And this was going to be very much a highlight of the evening, not only because the two men have explosive styles in the ring, but Rolando's personality explodes in a manner that makes you want to tune in, either in support of his mouthiness or to see potentially the mouthiness get closed shut. And that's exactly what happened. These two men faced off in the co-main event, which could have almost been the main event, according to what happened to headliner Tim Tszyu and Keith Thurman, the original fighters in the main event, when it was switched to Sebastian Fundora stepping in for Keith Thurman. But yet and still, the two fighters, Rolly being the WBA junior welterweight titleist, taking on Cruz, who had moved up to the division for his first fight at 140. And we expected an explosive affair, but not as explosively one-sided as it turned out to be, as Pitbull showed up with a dogged determination, pun intended, to go after Rolly as a Pitbull unchained. And it began as early as the first round, as he stepped into there and jumped into Rolly's chest immediately. There was a swinging wild punch. I believe it was a right hand in the first round. That shot missed by a mile. But my goodness, if it had connected, Rolly might have landed somewhere in the rafters. But Pitbull, who seemed to settle down not a little bit, but became a little more dialed in shortening those shots up, was able to find Rolly multiple times in the first round, wobbling him severely, putting him immediately on the defensive. And that was the way the fight went from that point on. However, after recovering after the first round, Rolly went right back into the fray. This time he tried to display lateral movement, and though he is not a boxer, and I stated this in my pre-fight breakdown video, he is actually a slugger, but a slugger who throws his shots in ones and twos, believe it or not. Pitbull, who was in his crouched position, chin tucked, high guard, and springing into his opponent, was ready to unleash hooks and overhand rights to the degree that it would become overwhelming. And seeing that Rolly had the reach and the height, but not the ability to be technically savvy enough to keep Pitbull at the end of a jab, he was having success from time to time, though, with right hands. And the right hands were very quick. Imagine if he were putting his punches together in succession with jabs leading the way. It could have been a different type of fight. Now, some people question whether or not his punches had any type of effect on Isaac Cruz. Personally, I believe they did. It's just that Cruz, with the style that he has one of the game poker faces, which is an asset, because if he were to show any semblance of being rocked, hurt, or at some type of a disadvantage, being such a slight gentleman, his opponents would jump on him. So he understands and recognizes body language is important in the instance of how you view him. So therefore the high guard and the crouch hides some of those moments when he could take something and it have an effect on him. But with Rolly not operating behind any jabs whatsoever, he could walk right in. And there were moments when they would tie up. The ref even deducted a point away from Romero for holding. It became obvious that he didn't know what to do once Pitbull got close to him. The lateral movement would have served well off of jabs, 1-2s, and combinations of straight punches right down the middle, mixed in with an assortment of uppercuts to the belly and the breadbasket. But he wasn't able to incorporate that. I believe that after being rocked like he was in the first round, it kind of made his, if he had a game plan, go out of the window. And his coach and trainer from the corner wasn't able to rein him in to be able to do the things that he really needed to do against this particular opponent. And Isaac made certain that he stayed in close proximity, not letting up, not giving him a chance to breathe. There were tactics he could have implemented to be more successful, but at this point, it was very much all downhill for him and a rolling stone downhill as Pitbull bared down on him. As I looked at the fight, the 8th round is when he really bore into Romero, and you could see he was hurt. It would have been well if his corner had stopped the fight. He took a lot of unnecessary punishment. Romero showed us that he has heart, and he did not go down, even though he was pummeled tremendously. I see that there is still something there to work with, but if he's not going to hire the type of talent that can advance him from the level that he is, he may just want to garner another payday and then look elsewhere for his career. As far as Pitbull Cruz, he's now a world champion. He didn't waste any time calling out the other champions, but I do think they'll take a slower, safer route for him for his limited abilities and style. But what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know your thoughts about Pitbull Cruz steamrolling Rolly Romero. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.